reconciliation and restoration. Following blessing.
Normally this is when you get your scripture reading, but nobody ever accused me of being normal. I've got 3 parts to this talk, and the first one is something you may have heard. Some of you you've heard before, but it's just 8 minutes long, so it won't take that. And the second part is going to be somebody that spoke many long years ago, and we're going to listen to what Paul has to say. And the third part is something I wrote that's fairly new. So just bear with me. On the last Friday in April of 2010, my family's life changed. My son Travis was admitted to the hospital that day, a very sick young man. It was obvious that he was critically ill. We were told he might not recover. We prayed. We called our friends and relatives and asked them to pray for our family. Soon, many people from many places were petitioning for our son. Surely, all of those requests for intervention would not go unnoticed by our God. He passed away Sunday morning. I experienced several emotions in a short period of time. It started with shock and disbelief, soon to be replaced by sadness and sorrow. Anger reared its ugly head. How could this happen? How could a great man with a big heart, he was a great man with a big heart. He did not deserve to leave us at such an early age. Why didn't God intervene? Why didn't the prayer save him? Were we not worthy? The anger turned to doubt. Maybe this God thing was all a hoax, made up to appease ignorant people to believe that there is someone giving us direction. This doubt caused me to look at other options. If there is no God, how did we get here, and what is our purpose? It appears there is one option if there is no supreme being, and that would be we are merely animals that have evolved from inorganic matter. While trying to understand that, I was perplexed by the question of where that inorganic matter came from. Many other scientific questions arose that I could not find a scientific answer to. Creating something out of nothing, living in an infinite universe with an infinite time in a finite world. Basic questions that go begging for an answer. Combine that with an amazing sense of order that permeates the earth. I see there must be a director, an orchestrator. I feel it impossible to believe randomness caused our existence. Some have called the biblical version of creation of the earth a fairy tale. A God, named God, used his magic powers to create a stage filled with characters who perform at his whim and fancy. Looking at the alternative, I would rather believe in the fairy tale that logically explains my existence and it gives me a purpose to be here than a theory that defies all scientific logic. So, if I'm going to believe in this God, I need to understand him. I need to know why my God took away my child and it allows me to hurt like I do. I started to study about him. I started to study about Jesus and his life and his actions. Most of Jesus' adult life consisted of 3 actions. He was a teacher, he was a preacher, he was a miracle worker. I would like to concentrate on the third part today. Miracles were a very important part of Jesus' life. Much of his writings about his ministry revolve around them. Christ gave water to those that were thirsty. He fed those who were hungry. He made the lame to walk again. He gave the blind sight. He healed the sick and even brought back life to the dead. However, none of these miracles were permanent. Those who he gave water to became thirsty again. Those he fed became hungry again. The lame lost their ability to walk. The blind lost their sight. The sick became ill. And even the one he brought back from the dead experienced death again. At least I'm not aware of a 2,000-year-old man walking the streets today. So, if none of these miracles were permanent, why did he perform them? His purpose was not to remove thirst and hunger, sickness and blindness, or even death from the world. His purpose was to get our attention, to make the world sit up and take notice that he had something much more important to talk about. He wanted to give the world something so much better than these physical things. His gifts were eternal and for everyone. God made promises to me. Almost all of his promises were about eternity and what happens after death. His earthly promise was, we will not encounter more than we can endure. He did not promise earthly prosperity. He did not promise a life without pain, injustice, loss, or sorrow. He just said, with his help, we will have the ability to persevere. God did not promise he would physically heal my son. He did promise to take care of him. He promised me my son would not hurt anymore. And he promised me I will have the opportunity to be reunited with him. These promises help me get through this life, because I know the next life will be much greater. So now, when I pray, I no longer pray for temporary healing, for financial gain, or for trials and tribulations to be removed from my life. My prayers involve spiritual things, things that are forever, things that will change my attitude here on earth, but will change my life in heaven. I do not grieve for my son. I know he is safe, secure, and happy. I still grieve. I grieve for myself. Because I miss him so. And I will miss him every minute of every day. Sorry. Just a minute. The hurt will not go away, but I do rejoice in the fact that I know that this pain and emptiness will go away if I persevere. All right. I'm not done yet. Nope, we're not done yet.
We'll read from 1 Corinthians 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I have become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. And though I have the gift of great prophecy, and understand all mysteries and knowledge, and though I have faith so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, but have not love, it profits me nothing. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself. It is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Wherever there are prophecies, they will fail. Where there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part will be done away. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know, just as I also am known. And now abide faith, hope, and love, these three. But the greatest of these is love.
Heard that many, many times. Now abides these three things: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Why is love the greatest? Faith and hope are two of the cornerstones of our Christian lives. We have faith in our God, and we hope that his promises are true. But when all is revealed, faith and hope will no longer be necessary. When our Father sins for us, they will both cease to exist. We will know what we once believed. We will experience what we once hoped for. They will be replaced by peace, knowledge, comfort, and surety. And through it all, from the beginning to the end, will be love. Endearing, unwavering, empowering, and purposeful love. In a place that knows no sorrow, no bitterness, no jealousy, no darkness, no doubt, and no hate. This is the place where love flourishes. If you do not possess that faith, hope, and love this verse talks about, give someone who is in this place an opportunity to tell you about the greatest love you can imagine in God's arms. This world is not my home. I will stay here for a while, do my best to make it a better place. I will love and provide for my family. But I am not concerned what I gain here. There's a great day coming, a day that I will no longer hurt, a day I will no longer disappoint, a day I will no longer worry, a day when faith and hope will have done their job and fade away, a day when love rules, and I long for that day. That's it.